Hi Warriors, it's Melissa with Mental Muscle Wellness. Today I've got for you a core strength routine that is yoga based, beginner friendly, and completely seated. So push play and let's get started. If you have a yoga mat, that's helpful. I will be using one, but by all means, you don't need one to do this routine. Go ahead and bring yourself to a nice, comfortable, cross-legged position on the floor, whatever that means for you. Hands resting just nice and comfortably anywhere on your thighs. And what we're going to do is start with breath. So what I want you to do is bring your attention and your focus in towards your center, and just notice as you inhale that your chest lifts, your belly expands, and as you exhale, your tummy collapses and you relax your shoulders down. Just 2 or 3 good, strong breaths, both in and out. Core strength is crucially important, and so much of it is actually tied to how we breathe, and how we breathe actually helps us engage all of those deep core muscles, pelvic floor, etc. properly. So taking a moment or two to focus on that at the beginning of any sort of core-based workout, very important. From here, we're going to do just a nice, easy little warm-up. If you watched my previous video, I did seated spine twist from a chair. We're going to do that same thing here. Doesn't matter what side you start with. Inhale and fill up your lungs. You're going to exhale and rotate around to one side as far as you can comfortably go. If you can really get far, that's great. If here is where your spine wants to be happy, that's more than okay. Remember our hand that's across our body right here. We're not pulling or torquing on our torso. It's just here for balance and to keep our upper body stable and stationary. And inhale, come back to center. And we're going to repeat that on the second side. So inhale, fill your lungs. Exhale and rotate around. As I always say, sometimes 2 sides of our bodies, we need 2 different things. And if that's the case for you today, by all means, just make sure that you're paying attention. Whatever right side needs, right side gets. Whatever left side needs, left side gets. And again, inhale and come back center. And we're going to start with cobbler pose. So very simply, just open so that you've got the soles of your feet together. If you're going to grip, make sure that you're gripping down on your toes or up on your shins, never on your ankle. We're going to inhale, let our knees relax up, and exhale and press them down into the ground. May seem odd why I'm actually starting with an exercise that targets the hip flexors, but your core is more than just your abdominals. That's commonly what we think of when we hear core being referred to. And we're going to pause, inhale, let your knees relax. And we're going to go right back to that press. So again, wobble everything around if you feel any tightness in your hips. Inhale, relax up, and exhale, press down into the floor. As I was saying, something that's really important to understand is that your core musculature is more than just your abdominals. It includes your spine extensors, all up and down your vertebral column. And it also includes any muscle that crosses or controls motion at both the hip and shoulder joint. That all constitutes core. So it's a very large portion of the muscles in your body. And inhale and relax up. And we're going to turn on, if you have a mat like I do. If not, you're welcome to stay seated as you are. And we're going to move into pigeon. I always like to start pigeon with this sort of not yoga pose that I call seated hurdler. So you're going to have one leg in front of you, just like you would be if you were sitting cross-legged as we just were. And the other leg bends behind you with your thigh close to the sole of that front foot. So you'll notice that my legs make kind of a Z shape right here. It's nice to sort of just relax your hips in this position for a moment before coming up into pigeon. When you're ready, big inhale, we're going to roll up and onto this front shin, and we're going to extend the back leg long, allowing the top of the foot to rest. Let your hips sink, and again, should feel a really very decent stretch right along the hip flexors right here. The important thing about core strength too is not only is it so many different muscles, but certain muscles need strengthening attention, certain muscles need stretching attention. And it's important, again, to be paying attention to both of those factors. From here, we are going to kick back into a plank pose. So make sure that your hands are in a nice firm spot down on the ground right underneath your shoulders. If this bothers your wrists, the top of a push-up, put your hand down in a fist. It will keep your wrist aligned better, and there will be less pressure on it. So that's always an option or a variation that you can take. But we're going to inhale, curl that back toe under. We're going to lift our hips, and this front leg is going to kick out so that we're nice plank. And we're just going to hold for a moment. Again, if this is really intense, you can drop down to your knees as an option. If it's still too intense on your wrists, you can actually come all the way down to your forearms, and that's just fine. Okay, and we're going to move into a Chaturanga. So from this plank position, exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, we're going to come up into Cobra, keeping the crown of your head extended and tall. And inhale, hips up and back, nice downward dog. And we're just going to take a couple of really easy breaths right here. Now, when we were in pigeon a moment ago, I had my left leg front. When I step through downward dog here, I'm going to position my right leg in the front. So inhale, let's step front. And I'm going to sit down in that seated hurdler position. It's difficult to see from this angle, but again, I have my right knee, my right leg crisscross applesauce style, my left leg behind me with my thigh lined up close to the sole of my foot. So we're going to do that same progression on our second side. So again, starting with seated hurdler to allow our hips to kind of relax into this position. Inhale, roll up and onto that front shin. Exhale and extend that back leg long. Again, allow the top of your foot to relax down onto the floor. Let your hips sink in. For pigeon pose, you should have enough core control that if you move both of your hands off the floor, your torso should stay in its alignment. Your hands in pigeon are basically just here for balance. Okay, same thing. We're going to press up and back into the plank. So hands down nice and firm and square on the mat. Inhale, curl that back toe under. Lift and kick your foot. Again, take whatever options you need to make the plank comfortable. Fists, forearms down at your knees. Breathe for a moment. And right into that Chaturanga. Exhale and lower down. Inhale up into the Cobra. And inhale, hips up and back, feet down. Tuck the chin in downward dog. Couple of nice big breaths. And exhale, drop down to your knees. We're going to press all the way back into child's pose. Take a little bit of breather. This is a nice stretch for the whole rear of the body, which just got a lot of strengthening work through Pigeon. Inhale, nice and slow. Lift your head. We're going to come to tabletop spine. And we're going to move into Sunbird, which is alternate leg and arm extending out. Okay? It never matters which side you start with, but pick one of your legs, extend it long behind you, keep the toe on the ground. Inhale and lift up, extending straight out from your spine. And then once you feel nice and stable, extend the opposite arm. And we're going to hold for 3 breaths. And then for the next 3 breaths, we're going to do a little pulse, a back extension pulse. So inhale and arch up. Exhale and relax. Inhale and arch. Exhale, relax. Inhale, arch. Exhale, relax. Come all the way down. Again, nice, easy tabletop right here. Take a second, cat-cow if you need to. So again, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin for the cat. And flatten out. Again, let your spine have that moment to relax. And then we're going to, again, repeat that on that second side. So for that version, my left leg was extended, so I'm going to go with my right leg this time. So again, extend it behind. Keep the toe on the ground. Inhale and lift. Make sure that you've got good balance. And then extend the arm. So same thing, we're going to hold here for 3 breaths. And go ahead with the arch. Inhale and arch. Exhale and return to neutral. One more, relax all the way down and in, and again, hinge it back. Take a little breather in child's pose. Nice and slow, lift your head. We're going to come out to a kneeling position. Again, I'm going to turn so that you're more able to see my alignment. If you prefer to stay where you are, have at it. And we're going to move into gate pose. So far we've worked kind of the front and the back side of our body. Gate pose is really going to work on what's going on in our obliques and the sides of our body. So it does not matter which side you start with. You're going to extend one leg out towards the side. It will be slightly in front of you. That's okay. Inhale, arms come up. And we are rotating on the exhale down to the opposite side. I apologize that my tall arm is out of frame here. I'm still working with my new sort of setup that I have happening and figuring out distances and the room and all of that. So, and inhale, we're going to come up and square. And exhale, and we're going to rotate down towards the other side. Okay. Reach as far down your leg as you can. If that's here to your shin, that's okay. And up in center. Exhale, relax the arms. And as always, we're going to switch sides. So again, that was my right leg. I'm on my left side now. Extend the leg long. Inhale, arms come up. And open gate first. So exhale down towards the opposite side. And inhale, come center. Exhale and close the gate down over the leg. Again, reaching as far as you comfortably can. And inhale, up and center. Exhale, relax the arms. Go ahead and shake out the legs. I know it's not always comfortable to be up on your shins like that. We have one more exercise to go. So again, I'm going to turn to my side. You stay where you're comfortable. So this last one is boat, and it's a really intense hold for your abdominal muscles. And I'll give you several different versions. Extend your legs out long in front of you. You're going to exhale, place your hands just very slightly behind your hips. And you're going to hinge back, kick your legs up. This is version 1. You are welcome to stay here. If you want a little bit more challenge, you can bring your arms out. If you want even more challenge, you can bring your arms up overhead. And if you want a lot of challenge, you can also straighten your legs. I generally stay somewhere in this neighborhood. And if you shake, that's okay. If you rock back and forth like I just did, that's also okay. And exhale, drop the hands back to your hips if they're not already there. And come forward. So I hope you enjoyed that yoga flow. It shouldn't take you that long, but if you do it consistently, especially as part of a regular strength training routine, it definitely will target all of the different parts of your core. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, be well, friends.